Interest in talking of dreams today. Dreams is not a metaphysical subject, it's not a spiritual subject. Well, why not? It's non-physical, it's not physical in nature. We have talked about, some of you were part of that, some of you may have read on the website. There are 7 layers of consciousness. The lowest level is the physical. We all know that. Physical has limits. The first limit on the physical is of time and space. So long as you are in physical form, you cannot walk through that wall because the space will hold you. So long as you are in physical, you have to deal with the 2 clocks. One clock is external, right on the wall. Other clock is inside. The inside clock is not constant. It changes with what you feel at the moment. If you're happy, relaxed, the clock will seem to speed up. And you say, my God, where the time has gone by. And if you are in any kind of discomfort, the inner clock will slow down. And you'll keep looking at the outside clock, and the outside clock is moving at a constant speed. It's not going to change. And you keep on getting more anxious and more angry. Why isn't the time passing by? Why isn't it going up? So those are the limitations of the body. The second layer of consciousness is represented by ethereal body, ether. It's a second layer in our consciousness. Ethereal body looks exactly like our physical body. Arms and the legs and the heads and eyes and everything. But it has dropped the physical limitation. Some of you probably remember a show called Friendly Ghost. Remember that? It was in your lifetime. It was a cartoon called Friendly Ghost. The reason I mention that, because the ethereal body is made up of thick smoke-like material. That's why we have a concept of ghost. What is a ghost? A body that is non-physical but looks like physical. And it has one more freedom than the physical. So what can the ghost do that physical body cannot do? Walk through the space. So the walls do not hold the ethereal body back. Those of the patients who have experienced out-of-body state, they have experienced that in the ethereal space. Right? They described that I was floating up in and the doctor was operating on me and I was watching everything that was going on and I was listening to everything that was being said. Which body is he doing that? Ethereal body. Meaning the consciousness is using the physical as a car that you park outside the shopping mall and then you go shopping. The out-of-body experience feels exactly like that. You park your body wherever it is, in the bed, and you step out and you can freely roam about. Normally you don't go too far from the body. Not that it is any dangerous, but since you are not experienced, you may not be able to navigate back to where your car is parked if you go too far away. So for that concern, usually these experiences are very nearby kind of experiences. So it is one level higher in consciousness, in vibration from the physical body. The dream world belongs to the ethereal body. It doesn't go any way higher. So if you want to say, is this mystical or spiritual or not, you can logically say, if you are going to only talk up to the second level, yes, it is mystical. Because the real mysticism and spirituality starts after the fourth body, which is the astral body. The Buddha body is the fifth body. That's where the real mysticism is. Prior to that, they are all slaves of time and space in one way or the other. So what is a dream world then? Dream world has nothing to do with the outside world, as is usually believed. Somebody came to my dream. It's a very common way of describing a dream. But you were sleeping. How could anybody come to your sleep? No. It's a wrong concept. Wrong understanding. In dream world, whatever you are seeing is actually you projecting from within. Get this thing into your mind. Dreams do not belong to the outside world. Dreams belong to you. There was a German psychologist who developed a technique of counseling called the hot seat. What is a hot seat? He will say, bring me your dream. And the patient says, well, I don't remember my dreams. So that's okay. Bring me a fraction of a dream. You don't remember the whole dream. Say for argument's sake, the patient says, I saw a wheel kind of a thing, but I don't remember what this wheel was about, etc. And he said, that's enough. Now the hot seat treatment starts. Just as she's sitting here, right across from her, he will put a chair and say, take that wheel that was in your dream and put it in that chair. Imagine that wheel is sitting in that chair. Okay, yes, that wheel is there. Can you imagine the wheel sitting there? Yes, doctor. Okay. Talk to that wheel. Say whatever comes to your mind to that wheel. And the patient will start, if there are negative energies associated with it, the patient will say, what the hell you are doing in my dream? I didn't do anything to you. Why were you bothering me? And he will record all of that. And then he will say, go to that chair, pick up that wheel, bring it back to this chair and put it here. Now you go sit over there where the wheel was sitting. Okay, so now the roles have reversed. And now he will say, you heard what wheel said. Respond back. respond back to the wheel as if you are answering his questions. Can you see what he is doing? He is forcing the patient to face the inner energy and create a dialogue between your outer self and your inner self, thereby creating a direct confrontation. A time will come when the patient will say, I have nothing to say. And he will say, that is your block of consciousness. If you have something to say to your wheel, and when you are wheel, you have nothing to say back, that means you are trying to avoid that subject. That is your real block. If the wheel is angry with you, why can't you respond back in anger? If wheel is loving you, why can't you respond back in love? That means you have blocked that part of your existence. And that is now a recognized science of healing the people who have schizophrenia, divided personality. Divided personality continues to exist because of the blockages of certain type in the mind. We come up to a certain level and they say, well, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to deal with it. And he was able to force the patients to deal with the blockages and open it up, thereby healing the people. So dream therapy has been utilized for some very effective psychoanalytical work simply because in the dream you are it. I met my daughter in my dream. No, you didn't. Daughter is sleeping somewhere else. Then who did I meet? The daughter that is sitting inside you. Actually, you are the daughter. You made yourself the daughter at that moment and experienced a dialogue between your daughter self and your mother self. Dreams don't come from outside. They're all generated from inside. And they are different types. I know that there are a lot of questions that are popping up right in your head. Well, what about those which are deja vus? The deja vus are very simple. They are coming from your deeper wish list that was suppressed. You brought an image out from within you. Oh, what about the dreams that are predictive of future events? And then I suddenly say, oh, I saw that in dream. Those are your programmed events of your own life already stored in your memory, and you pulled it out ahead of the time and played it like a picture on your visual cortex. That's basically it. Now Freud ran with the dream world and said the most memories that are unacceptable to an adult are related with the sexual life. All those thoughts, visions, fantasies, they're all suppressed, pushed back. They come to the conscious, adult immediately turns it and says, shut up, you're not supposed to think about it. Rather than dealing with it like a mature adult, rather than saying, it is part of me, not denying it, not saying, oh, that is impossible. I remember when I first talked about Freud in India, I was in the 9th grade. I had read the entire Freud's work, and like a young kid who had just found something that nobody else knows, I was so excited that I know something that nobody else knows. I tried to tell an adult about the Oedipus complex as described by Freud, and he slapped me left and right. Western may be able to think like that, Eastern don't think like that. Stop this nonsense. I cried all day. Suppression. And I tried to tell him, Freud is not talking about a nationality or a culture or a language. He is talking of human nature. The very simple fact that a child first experience of the outside world is through the mother's chest, his or her fascination with the chest is very natural. And more I explained, more he got angrier. You thinking of your mother like that? Perverted, stupid fellow. No, I'm not thinking anything like that. I'm telling you, this is a psychological researched topic. It makes perfect sense. If my first introduction to the outside world is through my touch with mother's chest, then that memory is my first memory. It is going to get stored here. There's no way to get away from it, either for the girl or for the boy. You can sexualize it and make it into a perversion, but it's not. It's a natural part of the human growth. I couldn't get anywhere. The problem that Freud faced was that he took this concept and sexualized it. And he said, every memory that is suppressed by the adult has to do with the sexual desires unfulfilled. And since you have all those desires unfulfilled, they are going to show up in your dream. Wrong. Because every suppression is not biophysical in nature. There are plenty of other suppressions. As a young man, when I got out of my primary school, I started dreaming of coming to America. Every decision that I made from about 16 years of age till I got to this country was focused on a single objective, and that was I want to go to America. But every effort I kept on making, I kept on getting defeated. But not once I dreamt about America. Jung was the disciple of Freud who then corrected him that he has taken this concept of avoidance of discussions or talks or training about human biology to far too much. And he added other things. So if you read Jung or Jung, whatever you want to call him, he's far more mature psychologist than Freud. And the interesting thing is, Jung is far more spiritual and mystical than all the psychologists prior to him or after him. Because talking of the consciousness, you cannot avoid getting to the spirituality. Because when you will ask a very fundamental question, okay, psychology, what is psychology? Something that is stuck in my brain. Okay, where did this come from? And you can say, I have collected this information, I have read these books, I have taken these courses. Okay, but that's just information. Who's behind the information that's making sense of it? Who's the observer? Behind the observed, who's interpreting that observation? It's not written in the books. Every psychoanalyst, psychiatrist, if he or she is worth a dime, will eventually get to the mysticism. There's something behind it. The dreams are a journey, you can say, first bus stop on your way of traveling. So dreams are normally symbolic in nature. Not normally, actually always. Dream is a symbol. And the symbol is very personal. If you see a chair in the dream, and she sees a chair in the dream, your symbol will mean something else than her. Because chair to her signifies something totally different than what it signifies to you. And the dream will always speak by creating these symbols. And they are very personal to you. Only you can really say, okay, in my life, what importance this particular symbol has. And you will have to go through your entire memory bank to pull out. In one of my meditation sessions, a very personal experience which I have never shared with anybody, that I am seeing that there is a chair on which the first master of Sikhs, Guru Nanak, is sitting. And on this side, there is a chair, and Jesus Christ is sitting. And they both are floating upward and upward and upward, till they merge into the light, and I see the light, and when I see the light, I'm completely at peace, quiet, no disturbance, no thoughts. As I come out of my meditation, I ask my counselor, what does this mean? And he said, I can't tell you. What do you mean? You are the expert. No. Your journey is only yours. Those symbols were created only for you. I can give you an idea that you can process later on. It's basically telling you is your journey is freed from the bondage of organized religion, because you have put two extremes parallel. As they are rising, you are rising with them. As they are seeing the light, you are getting to the light. And it is a confirmation that a journey you have taken or chosen is the right one, because it will eventually lead you the light permanently. Right now it was a temporary, short-lived experience. Someday it will become permanent. I said, thanks for the interpretation. I asked the entire group, Did anybody get that interpretation, the one that counselor had just given? And said, no, we had our own interpretation of your experience. Very interesting. Even after hearing the counselor interpretation, my co-meditators would not agree with it. And when I said, why don't you agree with him? Unanimously they said, oh, he is overvaluing your experience. He doesn't want to hurt your ego. And I said, that may be right. Actually, you may be also right. I'm quoting this experience from my own personal life simply because in the dream world, you are everything. Dream world belongs to the second layer of consciousness, ethereal body, non-physical in nature, yet physical. And the symbols are your private, they are coming from all layer of consciousness. Your immediate consciousness, something that you did today at work. It might show up in the dream. From your next layer of consciousness, you had an argument last month. Something more deeper than that. An image that you have no idea about. Where is that coming from? It could very well be from your previous life. A memory that deep. It just projects. Some are the symbolic and different way. Very deep. I had come to California in 1978. By 1980, an event took place in my life and I said, I'm going back to New York. My family was in India. I was all by myself. I started making calls back to New York, finding a job, finding this and that. And that night, I dreamed. And the dream is, I'm standing on a hill and jumping from hill to hill like a flying. And somebody, as I land on a hill, say, "Phew," and my feet freeze. Now I cannot fly anymore. A snake comes in and bites at my leg and says, where the hell are you going? We have a lot of chess games to play with you yet. And I wake up. And I said, thank you. I cancelled all the reservations, everything. I said, I know I'm not going anywhere. That was a message. Way from my deep consciousness that I was not done with my karma in California. So you can say, where did this come from? What are these symbols? What are the hills? And why are you jumping off the hills? Only I could tell what those hills are. You could not interpret it. Since 1971 to 1980, I have changed the jobs and addresses almost every year or two. Those are my hills and jumping from hill to hill. I was not staying steady at any place. Freezing the feet means stop. You're not going there anywhere. So since 1978, I have stayed in the same house. I haven't moved. Even when the jobs were changed, I kept the same house. No more jumping off the hills. What was the snake bite about? Right now it is only a bite on your ankle, and if you pick up that foot again, this is going to become poisonous. That was a hidden warning. If you don't heed the message from your subconsciousness, get ready to pay the price. Who could interpret this for me? Tell me. No one. They don't know the history of my life. I know. I know the symbols. I know which deep level it came from. In the dream world, you are it. They are all trying to tell you something, remind you something, no matter at which level of the consciousness they are coming from. If they are repeating in your dream, they have a message. What message? Please don't go to the dream books and read it. Water means this, flying means that. Because flying means different to different people. Isn't it? When you write poetry and you come up with a thought, how do you appreciate it? Ah, what a flight of imagination. Isn't that a flight? Are you sitting in Los Angeles and you want to go to Iran and you take a plane, isn't that flying? So which one is it? If you see the flight, is it a flight of imagination or flying to Iran? How would you interpret it? Only you know it. Only you know it from within you. Dream interpretations from outside is a waste of time and money and effort. If you want to understand the dream, sit down in a meditative state and say, what is my superconsciousness trying to tell me? This is all you. You create your own symbols because you know their interpretation. Don't take somebody else's interpretation. Like if you see the plane, I read it somewhere, that means you are having an out-of-body experience. Complete nonsense. Out-of-body experience is a very, very realistic experience. Out-of-body experience, you can literally experience your body lying on the couch. You can see it. Those people who are telling you the operation theater's scenery are not telling you wrong. They are seeing themselves. They are listening to the doctors performing and the instructions being given. Because all they have dropped is the physical structure. All other senses are completely untouched. You can see your hand and all the 5 fingers. The difference is when you take this hand and move through the wall, it will move through the wall. That's the only difference. The physical body, you take these hands and try to move it, the wall will stop you. Ethereal body will not stop you. If you can meditatively get to the ethereal body, you will do the kind of magic that you see people walking through the wall of China. You remember that? Anybody seen that show? The magicians actually walking through the wall of China with all the cameras. Simple. Nothing to be marveling about. They have meditated enough, developed the capacity. Can be done. You can do that. That's part of your Riddhi and Siddhi. It's one of the Riddhi Siddhi. To turn yourself into an ethereal body and then show that tricks and make some money. So the dream world to sum up for you, is your inner being freed from the outside world completely, communicating with your conscious mind in the language of symbols. Symbols that are completely unique for your life design, your life history, not only this life history, also from the past. If you meditate enough on a symbol, you can decipher it. It is all in the language of a computer technician. It is all a stored data on a disk, and a program is running to extract the file. It does not process the file, it just displays the file for you. That is your dream. You are reading that file, your own file. Nothing to be scared of, nothing to be concerned about. Now you might say, well, then what about nightmares? You get up sweating and crying and all that. Is that also a symbol? Yes. Then why am I crying if it's my symbol? Well, you are crying because you are identifying as if it is real. That's the problem. It is a simulation going on inside you. You don't accept it as a simulation. You say, no, it is real. Because it's real, you get up crying. Then you wake up and say, oh, thank God it was a dream. If you are meditative enough, you will never have nightmares. Because you will be able to see. Now you can use this capability, every single one of you. Every night before going to sleep, give yourself a suggestion. Say to yourself out loud, I want to stay awake in my dream. Just say that to yourself. And a day will come, you will know exactly. You will be fully alert, fully awake, and the dream will be playing. And you will open the eyes, yeah, it's a dream. You close the eyes again, dream continues. One of the easiest thing to do. In the world of hypnosis, this is called auto-suggestion. When you go to a hypnosis, they put you in a chair and they start doing this, right? What are they doing? They are sending a suggestion to you. So why should you go to them when you can give a suggestion to yourself? Here is an example of safest auto-suggestion. Just say, I want to stay awake in my dream. So that you can sleep and dream at the same time. If you can reach that state, that is the sign that you have tapped into your ethereal body. Your physical body is lying, your ethereal body is awake, and it is also watching the dream. And you can see that without much effort. It might take 5-10 days before the suggestion takes roots. But you can do that. No other, and there's no danger in it. You are not creating any riddhi-siddhi magic or voodoo, etc. You are only saying, let the body lie and let me be aware of my dream. It can be done. So with that, we'll conclude today's talk and open for discussion.
What about the dreams that repeat itself all the time?
The repetitive dream of a particular type is telling you that you have not yet deciphered it and understood the message. So it keeps on repeating itself. It's not for fun. The subconscious is saying, I send you a signal and you ignored it. So I'm sending you again. And you ignored it again. And even if you didn't ignore it and you sat down and said, well, wait a minute. Again, I can tell you about myself. I used to have a repetitious dream where I will go into a building, then I will get lost, I will never come out. That was a repetitive dream. And I kept on asking, why can't I get out? What is the problem? The dream continued coming till I figured it out. There was another repetitive dream in my life. I am trying to get a PhD degree in engineering. And every time I go to the examination hall, I forget something or the other, I never pass. And I kept on appearing in examination hall and never passed. A repetitive dream till I figured it out.
And some of these dreams are common among people.
It could be. I'm just telling you mine. But again, my PhD examination may not be your PhD examination, because PhD means you want to reach a height, certain pinnacle. And if you're not touching the pinnacle, you are failing. If you figured out what is that pinnacle that you want to reach and you accept the fact that that pinnacle is not for you for this life, so drop that wish, dream disappears.
So every dream is trying to give you a message. Every dream is trying to give you a message.
Exactly. From within you. Oh, my mother came in the dream and she said, oh, you're going to have a son. No. Mother is not creating son for you. It is your wish coming from within and telling you, you still have this desire. How practical is this? Are you sure you really want it? Are you sure you are willing to take 30 years of commitment to take a child and make that child an adult human? That dream will keep on coming till you accept the message and resolve that conflict.
Why do we forget most of our dreams?
Those are not actually the dreams, that is the brain processing the excess information and discarding it. That's a cleansing. Just as in your computer, you just go and empty your wastebasket bucket. That's what those type of replays process the excess information out. If you keep the all data, all of your lives, you'll go insane. No matter how large the brain, how effective the brain, even though they say we only use 5-10% of it, but the data is there. And the brain has to process it to get the information. So if it gets cluttered, it's going to get overloaded.
So the bad dreams that someone has, those are also
They're also sending you a message. They're also sending you a message. There is nothing bad or good. They are your labels. Something that you call a bad dream, For the other, it may be very simple thing. Hey, this is very simple. I can process it. I can deal with it.
So if you dream of someone you love is being ill or dying or something, that's still something that we...
That is a fear suppressed away, a concern that's filed away, a worry that is stacked somewhere. It pulls out of the memory and plays. All you need to do is recognize it and say, oh, this is just my silly sitting worrying. She is okay over there. End of day. It is basically asking you to acknowledge it as a part of your inner self. Don't put any other value on it. Don't say it's good or bad. Just say it is an information. I got the information, I processed the information, I'm done with the information. So long as you are not done with the information, it will renew itself, go back to the storage, and now it becomes a new memory rather than an old suppressed memory. Again, look at when you take a file from the computer, you process it, and then you store it back. What is the date stamp on that file?
Changes.
The hour you processed it, is it not? It may be 2 years old file, you pulled it, you changed a little bit, then you said save, it's going to put a new time and date when that file was saved. It becomes a new file. Same way, when the memory comes out of the storage, if you acknowledge, get the message, you're done with the file. You don't need to store it back. It goes in the trash bin. But if you say, oh, wait a minute, I should pick up the phone and call. Sunny, are you okay? I just dreamt about you. Mom, it is 2 o'clock in the morning. Mothers are notorious for that. Oh, it is your college time, you have parties that late in the night, and you cannot stand a mother's call at 2 a.m.
You mentioned 5 different stages, with Buddha being the 5th.
There are 7.
There are 7, but I kind of missed after the second one.
No, I did not count all of them. I just gave you the example. In the website, all 7 bodies are discussed. I'll just give you some quick refresher. Physical is the first, ethereal is the second, and I told you what its nature is, thick fog. Then mental, just pure thought form. Pure thought form is still a fog-like with all the structure, but the fog like which you can see through. Thick fog you cannot see through. A light fog that you can see through. These are all just the thoughts, memories collection, intellectual. And its quality is that it not only can go through the space, it can go backward to the time. If you get to the 3rd stage, you start remembering your past lives. You are going back in time. 4th stage is the astral body. It has no matter now, no material. Pure energy, pure thought form. And it has one more freedom. It does not only go back, but it can go forward also. It is here at the astral plane where you decide something about your next birth. because it tells you if you take these choices, these are your directions, this is what your destiny is going to lead you. If you pick up these choices, because these are all karma collected, and you want to work on those karma to exhaust them. At that plane, you can choose which areas you want to work, which relationships you want to cure. She picked you and you picked her. It's not accident. Parents have nothing to do with your marriage. You chose. Where? In the astral plane. Once you drop down and come to the physical world, the passing through the birth canal is the barrier where the memory is blocked. You retain that memory so long as you are in the womb of the mother. You know what you have chosen. You know what you are going to do, what you want to do. Passing through the birth canal, the moment the umbilical cord is cut, the memory is blocked. Now you will be presented with the choices by the nature so that you can work on those that you have decided to work on. And then the nature says, do you want to continue working on this or you want to change your mind? And you can say, no, I want to change my mind. Working with her is far damn difficult. I'm going to find something easier ones. That means that karma that you are going to work out with her will be postponed and you will be given the choice to do something else, where you will create a new karma. The divorces are actually saying, I refuse to learn the lesson you told me to learn or I told myself to learn. That's the definition of a divorce. Working on a situation has become painful and I cannot stand this pain. And the nature is saying, you are given, you asked for this, you wanted to work on this. You say, no, I don't want to work on it. It says, okay, your choice. You want to go further? All you're going to do is replace this karma with that karma. All of that is done at the astral plane. We choose everything. Your coming to this on a Tuesday evening was voluntarily chosen by you and chosen by me. If they come to me, I will share my life with them unconditionally. And you said, I need a reminder about my work at this stage of my life. And I said, fine, we'll create the situation for you. So this meeting is not accidental. We met, we transacted. You still have a freedom. You can say, this is all mumbo jumbo, bunk. I don't want to hear this nonsense. I'm okay without it. And he said, fine, continue. You wanted a reminder, I gave you a reminder, now you are not doing anything with this reminder, it's your choice. That means that part of the karmic thread will still continue. All of that is done at the astral plane. When the astral plane is completely cleansed, zero memory, zero karma, you go to the next plane, which is a Buddha plane. That's where you become enlightened. That's a Buddha plane. Enlightenment means drop all memories. Positive and negative. Because positive is attachment, negative is aversion. Both are type of attachments. I'm attached with you positively because I like you. I'm attached with you negatively because you hate me. But the relationship is still there. When you drop all of them, you become enlightened or you become a Buddha. That's the fifth plane. But in the fifth plane, you get a freedom which is not available at the astral plane. Astral plane allows you to look backward and forward only of your life. you have no choice but to come back. If you reach a Buddha state, an enlightenment stage, you also have the freedom of looking at the entire past of the entire creation. You know everything about everybody that has happened in the past. Plus, you have the freedom to choose, do you want to be born or not? If you say you want to be born, you can come back and become a teacher for the others. That's what Buddha became. Buddha came back to teach the others. Buddha was not born because he had no choice. He was born because he wanted to be born, having done the work of Buddhahood. He wanted to teach the rest of the world. All mystics are born by choice. That's the fifth plane. The sixth plane is the cosmic plane. In the cosmic plane, you get one more freedom, which is you have the choice to be reborn, as well as you know the entire past of the humanity as well as the entire future of the humanity. The time dimension opens on both sides at the cosmic plane. And the last is the nirvanic plane. Nirvana means all of you, the I, the observer, merge into the super consciousness. You don't exist anymore. You are part of him. When you become part of him, there are no choice to come back. That choice is taken away. So those are the 7 layers of consciousness. All achievable through meditation in this physical body. That's why the people go mad, because they go to the fifth plane, they can see everything about the humanity and they cannot contain themselves. I know about you. Do you want to know who you were in your past life? I can tell you. Oh, Babaji, tell me what's going on. We suddenly start collecting disciples. The moment you start using those powers, everything gone. The forward progress remains until you do not abuse what is given to you. For example, the day I get 1 dime and put in my stomach out of this, whatever he is sending me will shut down 100%. He is sending this through me, is going out to you. You have no obligation to accept or to reject, badmouth, condemn, do whatever you want to do with it. No cost to you. That's why majority of, not only majority, all of those who make the religion a means of collecting wealth in any form, in any shape, they don't evolve. And we run after those, right? What is our criteria of finding something good? My God, this guy has 2 crores followers. He must be good. 10 millions, 20 million, around the globe. So many television networks, this and that. You are actually falling for a hype. They are selling you a base coin, a pseudo coin. It's not a real coin. It's not going to help you anywhere. It will help them. 1 more member, more money, more name, more fame. It's everything about them, not about you. That's why I admire that Hindi movie. Remember what I'm talking about? Go see, the name of the movie is Oh My God.
I would say
That was so
I will
funny.
Go see that movie. Very well done movie. Describes exactly the commercial aspect of the world of organized religion. Beautifully done.
English or Indian?
I think it's Hindi, isn't it?
It's Hindi, but it had subtitles.
Yeah.
Of course, closed captions is always there. So.
It's a copy of a old 80s movie. I'm forgetting the name of it. Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
In that, the same thing happened. He's sitting in a boat and there's a lightning and the boat breaks down and then he files for a claim. And the same thing happened. The boat people say,
Yeah.
it's done by God, so it's not covered.
But anyway, does that answer your question?
yes, thank you.
Anybody else?
Maybe for next time, you mentioned karma, and how do you negate perhaps the karma of your past? I mean, it's like,
Well, I think that's a very good idea. Let's take 5 minutes and go through the room and ask everybody what they want, a topic, and we make a list.
No, I'm gonna bring that. I'm gonna give everybody a paper and each person write 5 or whatever number. So, because if you say it out loud,